And we're here. It's session 10. We made it. We made it to session 10. I don't know how. They're not dead. Probably because I vastly underestimated how powerful they are. And they're now level 2. So they're even more powerful. Okay, folks. Welcome to session 10 of A Song of Crystal and Shadow. Unfortunately, we are down in Ink tonight. Ink is dealing with some real world stuff. But, yeah, you got me, you got Duality, and you got Pure. So, I'm going to make sure my moderator mode is up. Okay. For a second there, I thought Artemis was saying I was muted again. I was like, oh, what the fuck is Streamlabs doing now? Anyway.
What is it not doing?
Exactly. I need to figure out my Elgato keys so I could be as professional as I have to be. Right, so we are still until pretty much tomorrow, Saturday. Yeah, the fundraiser ends Friday. Okay. So we're still raising money for the Trevor Project, and they are, of course, an organisation that helps LGBTQIA2+ youth and provides 24/7 crisis support services in Mexico and the US. If you press that donate link, where you can usually press the subscribe link, at least on PC, because the mobile app really sucks in that regard, you can donate. If you donate, especially by the middle of Mistwalkers tomorrow, where they take their break, not Mistwalkers, Fixius. If you do it by the middle of Fixius, you'll be entered for the big gay giveaway that happens tomorrow or Monday. I'm not sure which, but I'm pretty sure it's you will be entered. Put it that way. And okay.
That's not ominous sounding at all.
Yes, you will be entered for the big gay giveaway where we give the gay away to you, or you to away to the gays.
Is that how the frogs became gay?
Yeah.
Okay.
First announcement. Our sponsor, as always, is Canadian Dice. Go to canadiandice.ca and use the code THEVACTER, all one word, at checkout for 10% off your order. Maggie's pick of the week is Undertow, because the sea is great and not creepy. Maggie, you're a liar. Second announcement. Checking out our merch store will benefit you greatly, and us for that matter. It's at tinyl.com/VAC-merch. You can get those wicked designs like the VAC Blob, Half Orc Energy. Pride merch is still up. That's still up till Saturday. And if you buy Pride merch, it goes to the Trevor Project as well. In fact, that's what helped push us over our target. Was all the Pride merch you all bought off us. So let's go into our schedule for the next week. Fixius is tomorrow at 8:30, and they are on their session 50, the big 50. So everyone come terrorize Artemis and their Chaos Beans. Saturday morning is Together Among the Stars at 11:30 with Emily, aka Corvée, and Artemis. Hosted by the Dungeon Daddy himself, Sir Rick. Saturday evening, big one here. We are launching our new series, The Backpacker's Guide to Tabletop RPGs. Again, with Emily and Artemis. Man, you two are busy tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but Saturday. Well, you're busy tomorrow as well, because you've got Beth and Fixius. Yeah, you two got busy 2 days coming ahead of you. That's at 7 o'clock in the evening. So we have a Saturday evening show now. And that's going to be bi-weekly, if I remember rightly. Sunday, Blood and the Six. Jeremy's Vampire the Masquerade game is up and running. They had their first session last week. Next session is this Sunday at 7:30 EST. Monday, we're back here for Mistwalkers at 8:30 EST. As always, and our very own Duality is in that one. And then, finally, before we get back round to us, Wednesday, Alfie and Artemis is over on Cantrips and Coffee for their first session of Call of Cthulhu, and that starts at 9 p.m. EST. And now, because it's not in my announcements, but I hear everyone doing it, I'm going to say the famous words. I'm going to hold 2 seconds for the bot, or the podcast, whatever. There. Okay. I will get into a habit of doing that automatically. Yeah. Right, recap, because we've got some people who don't usually come and watch my game, because Critical Role and other 5e games and stuff going on. So, last week, our band of drunken, buggering adventurers managed to defeat Den the Orcatooth in... my artist is gone, by the way, guys, so I can kill you now. Then the Orcatooth died in the Sastasha Sea Grot, and the party collected insignias from him and his lieutenant, Cap Madison, the shit panted pirate, because he ran away crapping himself twice. And afterwards, they went out. The Yellow Jacket guard that was guarding the sea grot was pretty fucking surprised that they managed to somehow survive the sea grot, and they got shifted off to Aleport and then very quickly to Limpsa proper to go and meet with someone very important. They went and meet with Commodore Rayner, who then directed them to the head honcho of Limpsa herself, Admiral Merlwyb Bluffisvin. Try saying that 5 times fast when you're drunk. And that is where our story kicks off, because I cut it there because that seemed like a good place to stop, especially after killing a boss and leveling up to level 2. Okay, so where we left off, you three, Zorn and Fawn have gone off to go do their own things right now. They're also laying kind of low-ish because they don't want anyone to recognize them, just in case someone does recognize them from the Sea Grot and decides to out them in more ways than one. Because they were still wearing drag. Well, they weren't wearing drag by the time you got to the tower, but they still have their drag outfits. So they don't want to be outed in that way, at least not right now. They're in the closet a little bit. And you go up to the Crow's Nest, which is the more formal name for the Admiral's office / quarters. And when you reach the top, there were 2 Rogadin, one male, one female. Rogadin, of course, a big burly, usually. But the Admiral, who was wearing a black naval overcoat or greatcoat with epaulets with like the longboat design of Limpsa on one on each shoulder, with like 3 tags hanging off each of them to signify that she's the Admiral. She looks at you and she introduces herself as Admiral Merlwyb Blofusvin, and that her comrade in arms next to her is Storm Marshal Einzar Slaffersin, who is the second in command of the Maelstrom and the person who typically hands the day-to-day of the Maelstrom things. Like the Admiral deals with politics, and Marshal Slaffersin deals with the more practical side of things. So, yeah, I will let you 2 react as you please, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, I was messing with something and missed part of that. I'm sorry.
Okay, what did you miss?
when it stopped being a recap.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, the Admiral introduces herself as Admiral Merlwyb Blofusvin and introduces the male Rogadin standing to her right as Storm Marshal Einzar Slafferson, who is essentially her second in command of the Maelstrom, and he handles the day-to-day running of like the military of Limsa Lominsa, which is the Maelstrom, whereas the Admiral deals with the more political side of it. She's the overall leader of the entire city, and the Maelstrom and all basically everything. So yeah, whereas you got the Commodore who deals with basically the Yellow Jackets, who are the police force of Lenosha, and so on and so forth. So she welcomes you in a kind of low, I guess, kind of gruff seafarer's sort of tone. You can tell she's had a life on the sea before she became a landlubber. And I would let you two react to the fact, to the sight of this big burly woman, this big burly Rogadin woman in a naval greatcoat before you. Oh, and she has two double-barreled pistols, one on each hip, just to be clear as well. She looks like she's a cross between a pirate and like an upstanding naval officer.
Okay.
So I will let you two say what you like. She's introduced herself and the Storm Marshal. I think she might be waiting for you two to introduce, well, three to introduce yourselves. But Ink has gone to sleep because sick.
Yeah. That's okay. We can just say that the Reaper's being his quiet, surly self today.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, Akemi is really unnoticed as to how tall they are because they stand at the exact same height as them. So, very aloof about it, just, hi. I'm Akemi, and, the drunk one here is Shakyle, and the grumpy one is Cran.
And the grumpy one is, I assume, resting?
Yep.
Or just being quiet and surly? Yes. Okay.
Second one.
Yeah. And just being like this.
Mhm.
She nods and she says, Commodore Rayner gave me a very in-depth report of your activities in Sastasha Seagrot. Tell me, how was it you knew that something was going on in there and you decided to take it upon yourselves as adventurers to go and clear it out?
Well, to be honest, we had passed by a couple of pirates on the road who'd been talking about it, and we were already on our way that way, just kind of decided to go for it.
So it was dumb luck. Interesting.
A little bit, yeah.
But you came out relatively unscathed. And with plenty of booty, I hope, from
Definitely.
Captain Madison and his Sahagin master, bastard fishbacks. She shakes her head. Well, you absolutely did us a favour. by clearing out the sea grot. I understand you were supposed to be going to Morabie Bay to help with rooting out some of the serpent reavers there, but it seems you did more damage to the serpent reavers by infiltrating the sea grot and causing hell in there than you would have at the bay, at the shipyard. So, where does that leave us? Well, she looks at Slafasim. It just so happens we have a potential task for some enterprising individuals who can take the initiative on and maybe have a little bit of dumb luck on their side, and maybe would like to, I don't know, travel to far off places and enjoy the sights and maybe have the chance at some glory far away places, further afield, whatever. Are you interested? And to be clear, you would not necessarily be doing this as official representatives of the Maelstrom or such. You would be acting as my personal envoys. Which means you can still, you know, do your adventuring on the side. But you won't have to worry about the strings of being part of a regulated military force.
Which is good. I don't want that again.
That's fair. She looks to Shikyle as you were about to say something, Mr. Shikyle.
Moment, there's stuff going on this end.
Okay.
There's worse things than seeing the world.
There certainly is.
Good. So, tell me, how much do you know of the Calamity?
You see Akemi kind of make a face, just kind of...
And Shikyle, how much do you know or remember of the Calamity?
Let's find out.
That is a 20.
That's a dirty 20. You would know that the Calamity was an event, I wouldn't say a mass extinction event, but it was an apocalyptic level event, and Kemi got a nat 20. I need to switch those tables round. I should do that later, but both of you would remember that it was an apocalyptic level event where the Red Moon of Dalamud, which actually housed the Elder Primate Bahamut, was originally being forced down by the Garlean Empire, and it broke apart, and Bahamut got loose and started wreaking absolute havoc, while the Eorzean Alliance, so Limsa, Gridania and Ul'Dah, were all fighting the Empire on the flats of Cartano below. So basically Bahamut just started killing people left, right and centre with all sorts of crazy, dangerous magical attacks because Bahamut. And the only reason that people survived that day was because of a man called Louis Soir, who attempted to summon the 12 gods of Eorzea, who are just called the 12. They all have names, but they don't have titles like the Navigator. The Navigator is the patron. The Navigator is the patron saint of Limsa Lominsa, for example, or patron god. And Louis Soir attempted to rebind Bahamut in a new moon, but Bahamut broke through all the ether that had basically broke through the ether that had been summoned to each of the shrines of the 12 across Eorzea, and was about to unleash a very dangerous attack where he charged up a lot of ether in his mouth, when suddenly Louis Soir cast a time warp spell, and those at the Battle of Cartano were teleported away. The three of you do not know if you were at Cartano or not. On that day, your memories of the end of the 6th astral era and the beginning of the 7th umbral are blank. You don't know. So you know all that, and you recount that to, you basically can say to Merlwyb, oh well, we know X, Y, and Z. And she in turn nods and says, well, it was adventurers like yourselves, not specifically like you, but adventurers like yourselves that we gave the names the Warriors of Light, who stood against the Empire that day as part of the Foreign Levy, and the Wild Wolves and the Brass Blades. And Louis Soir managed to evacuate not only the Warriors of Light, but also the forces of the Alliance. But we have not seen the Warriors of Light since. They have disappeared. And I tell you something in no amount of confidence. I wish they were back sometimes with the amounts we're dealing with, especially with the Sahagin and the Kobolds, Serpent Reavers. And if either of those beast tribes summon their thrice damned gods, we're in for a hell of a time. The last time Leviathan was summoned, he almost drowned the entire city. And as for Titan, I don't need earthquakes and tremors crackling my limps and lands in twain. But in recent times, especially as the entire alliance is beginning to heal, it feels like we've drifted apart. And so the good Marshal and I came up with an idea. We need to have a remembrance ceremony of sorts for those that fell at Cartano. And I need the Elder Seed Seer of Gridania, Kanesena, and the Flame General of Ul'Dah, Ralban, to help with the preparations and to join us in this effort. This is a long-winded way of saying that the task I'm going to assign you is I am going to send you to both Gridania and to Ul'Dah, in whichever order you please, to go and speak to their leaders on my behalf as my envoys, as my personal diplomats. Now, it might be that when you get to the city-states, you might find that there are things you can help them with. There might be things you personally want to do while you're there. Explore the lands, learn the culture, the foods, what have you. But as long as you accomplish this particular task, for me, in each city-state, that's absolutely fine. And then we can talk about where we go from there. I will note that I have had contact with a certain Mikote scholar you may have met. Y'shtola, I believe her name is.
Yep.
Yes.
I will tell you that her and her organization are keeping an eye on you, but not for a negative reason. They are also particularly impressed with how you have been conducting yourselves and helping the people out. And it might come to a point, especially as you travel, where you might meet more of their order, and they might have things you can help them with as well. Who knows? You might catch their eye enough that they decide that they contact you directly for help with their bigger, more realm-spanning problems. But I have talked a lot about Cartano and the Empire and all the rest of it. And I would, at this point, essentially open the floor to you and offer you questions, concerns, what have you. And she just looks at the fact that Akemi seems to be thinking or biting their tongue.
Akemi's not. I'm trying to process words. It's the player who's having a brain fart, not Akemi.
Sorry, I'm dealing with some stuff in real life.
Do we need to take an early break or anything?
No, just dealing with cats.
Kemi nods and kind of glances at the others for a second and just grins. So what's the pay for this?
For a start, I will give you a personally assigned airship pass, each of you. That's permanent, not temporary. As you know, with the Empire being their usual typical selves, airship travel has been restricted to those who need it. As part of this endeavour, and also for your future cooperation, I will give you permanent access to the airships of Eorzea. You will have a pass personally signed by me that acts as an alternative way to travel when Aetherites are not necessarily an option. For example, if you're not attuned to them, I'd happily send you to Gridania right now if you'd been there before and had been able to attune to an Aetherite. But not only that, there are definitely opportunities for you to gain money, equipment, and, for lack of better terminology, favors with the Maelstrom and Limsa, let alone the other city-states. I'm not sure what else we can offer at this time, especially when we're still trying to rebuild, but those are what we can offer. And of course, if you help the other city-states with their problems, I'm sure they will reward you in kind as well, in their own way.
Certainly a generous offer.
Not really got much to lose.
Not in the slightest.
So, do I take that as I have your cooperation for this remembrance ceremony endeavor?
I think it's a great idea.
And she looks at...
I'm fine with it.
He'll go wherever. Don't worry about the rabbit.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that I need to be aware of that will be joining you for this?
We did
travel?
pick up 2 new party members, fairly recently.
Oh?
Yep.
Define fairly recently.
After the courses of Sastasha, they joined us. Or during.
So they're former Serpent Reavers?
No.
Well... And she thinks about this. If you are vouching for them, I am willing to not that I know who you're talking about, so I can't say if there's a record to expunge, But if they were in Sastasha and helping Madison and his Sahagin master, they may well have been helping the Reavers, which would be aiding and abetting, terrorists, essentially. I will not pursue that if they are going with you to help you on your future endeavours, put it that way. I won't call the Yellow Jackets, and I won't let them be detained.
That is much appreciated. There is also the dog.
Did Fang come up into the tower with you?
Huh?
Did Fang come up into the tower with you?
Yes, she did. She's been a very good girl hiding behind everybody.
Ah! That's what that little tail wagging out from behind you was. And I thought it was odd that Azala would have a... Azala or Rayan, actually, I can't remember. Which kind of Al-Ra are you, Zayla or Rayan?
Eka.
I'll check.
I've got it.
Rayan, you're a Rayan. You're one of the underwater ones. Okay. I find it odd that a Rayan would have such a fluffy tail. What's the wolf pup's name then?
Her name's Fang.
Well, I haven't had any reports of a wolf attacking Yellow Jackets or citizens, so she's particularly well trained, it seems.
And well fed.
I don't have an issue with her travelling on airships with you, so long as you keep her under control. I mean, once you travel, say, from Gridania to Ul'Dah, that's their problem, because it's a Gridanian airship. But at least for the first leg of your journey, as long as Fang doesn't cause any trouble, Fang travels on your pass, essentially. All 5 of you who are not on 4 legs will be given your airship passes by the good marshal here before you depart. But in the meantime, I encourage you all to maybe get some rest after your long dungeon trawling and clearing out the sea grot. And once again, I thank you for your service to my city. We'll be in touch.
Pleasure meeting you.
Okay. I'm going to mute the desktop just for a second because I'm working on something. I am hoping to the dark gods that this does not get us... It shouldn't get us hit with a banhammer, because I've played this before and nothing bad has happened. But I would like to play a small interlude for our players. No, I can't because of the podcast. Yeah, I would love to play the video of what's happening in the Empire while the party is resting up. Unfortunately, there's no real way to have it play for the podcast, so I might have to act it out myself, which is going to be fun because I can't remember all of it. So I will do my best. I will do my GM best and just and just narrate this while you two can just take a chill pill while I take care of this. So the 3 of you and Fang head back down from the tower, and it's only a short walk to the other lift that takes you down to Baderon's bar. And he notices you and he kind of gives you a clap. Ha! Heroes of the Hour return then. Word's been travelling about our band of adventurers took out the sea grot. Didn't think it'd be you lot though. There were some few others, and he kind of jabs his thumb over at some other parties of adventurers that were preparing to head out to the sea grot, but you beat them to it. There were others preparing to take up the Admiralty on trying to clear out the sea grot, but it seems by sheer luck and coincidence that you reached it first. So, yeah. The Admiral's personal envoys then, eh?
Cammy kind of nods their head and just shrugs slightly.
I will say that you both find it a bit weird that Baderon, of all people, would know something that was just talked about in confidence up in the Admiral's Tower. And he shakes his head. I got ears everywhere, lass. And Dark One. He stutters because he's like, look, whenever you go into that crazy dark shroud of yours, it's hard to tell. I don't know whether sometimes I'm talking to a dark spirit or if I'm talking to a chemi. Anyway. Besides, the Admiral does consult me on some issues here and there because of my time in the Maelstrom myself. So, I reckon after all that bullshit you had to go through and fighting a Sahagian warlord, yeah, go and sleep in your inn rooms for a night. Go rest. And on the morning, I'll make sure that the Grand Marshal makes sure you get your airship passes, and we'll give you a proper seeing off. How's that?
Rest seems good to me.
Sounds good.
Do you want your usual shipment of booze?
Do you even need to ask?
No. But I figured it wouldn't be a bad idea just in case somehow you'd gone clean. But I reckon at this point, if you go clean, there's something wrong. I'll also make sure...
Kemi's actually breaking down laughing right now.
And then he looks at Fang, he's like, I'll make sure I have fresh meat and water provided for the pup.
Appreciate it.
Just make sure you go and walk them properly and don't have them shite in my room, please. Or piss, for that matter.
Oh, she wouldn't do that. She's a good girl.
I don't disagree with that. However, just a word of caution that if I have to send one of the maidens in to clean the room afterwards, there will be a charge.
That's fair.
Nothing more than Gil, thankfully, for dealing with it. I ain't gonna charge after y'all with a cleaver or something. Anyway, go rest. I'll make sure meals and drinks are all delivered to you so you can relax properly. And tomorrow starts your bigger adventure. If I were you, I would go to Gridania first. On account of the fact that, well, there might be more for you to do there, shall we say. Something interesting has come up with the local Moogles. That's all I've heard from my counterpart in Gridania. Something's got the Moogles in a tizzy. And with that, you can head into your rooms, do whatever you like. If there's anything specifically roleplay wise or anything you want to do, we can cover that.
Thorn and Zorn have come with us, right?
Yes, and they've also been given rooms because they've been given clean slates, and when it's explained that they helped you through Sastasha, they get put on the same level as you two, and they get their own room to themselves. They're both men, so they're sharing a room.
All right. Akemi's actually gonna take over the kitchen for the night.
Okay.
Stress cooking, we shall call it.
Yeah. And is there any, apart from stress cooking, like, are you actually cooking a bunch of the stuff that's in your pack, or?
I mean, Akemi doesn't have any of his own ingredients right now, so he's cooking for everybody at the bar.
Okay. Everyone is innately very grateful for the food. It is a change to have a guest chef in the in the Drowning Wench instead of having to go to the Bismarck for fine food. So you manage to got quite a storm, and I am gonna say that you managed to get 65 golden tips, Gil, in tips from people, because Baderon's covering the cost of the meals, but any tips go to you, so you get 65 Gil. I'm assuming Crayon is bedding down. Shikyle, what are you doing before you settle down for the night? Getting drunk.
Did you even need to ask?
No. So, Shikyle, give me a Constitution save. I'm going to say that you managed to find yourself in a drinking contest with an off-duty yellow jacket.
Alright. 8.
Oh.
You get drunk under the table.
That's nothing new.
Yeah, Chicago gets the backside kicked and has to be carried into the inn room.
You're not telling me anything I don't already know.
No, I know. I'm telling it for the benefit of the podcast and our viewers.
Alright.
Anything else you want to do, Akemi?
No, I think I'm good. I think Akemi's good for the night, just stress cooking and having fun that way.
Yeah. So eventually, all of you, including Fang and Zorn and Fawn, conk out for the night. And this is where I get to do some expository banter. While you two can do whatever the hell you please. I can't put you in a cone of silence, I don't think. I do not have that power. I could technically mute you on my side and it wouldn't get through onto the stream, but you would still hear me. I could if I deafen myself, it also will not go out onto the stream. So I'm buggered. Anyway, I am going to do this, and you two never heard a damn word of this. Okay. So, my turn. As you sleep, the scene changes to one of the Imperial bases, I think it's Castrum Ossiden's, out in Vilbrand, and an airship screeches through the sky before landing at the Imperial Castrum, before 4 armoured individuals walk down the gangplank of the airship as it descends, down the ramp. And the lead one, all of these 4 have different styles of masks and armour. Garlean armour is a very personal thing. When you get to the point where you get your own armour, it's a very personal business, personal affair. Especially if you're from a noble house. But the lead one says it has been 10 long years since our conquest of Eorzea failed upon the flats of Cartano. Not only did the Meteor Project fail, as that thrice-damned icon, Bahamut, scorched the earth, but the dragons of Silvertear Falls summoned the mightiest of all dragons, Midgard Sorma, and his legions to do battle with the Agrius, the finest of all the Imperial ships. Though we claimed the lives of many dragons that day, Midgard Sorma sacrificed himself to destroy our mighty prized flagship. And now the wreckage sits in Mordona as a testament to our failure. 10 long years. And now this land is ripe for conquest. The 3 armies of Eorzea divided, beaten by Bahamut, weakened and ready to be picked off. And he looks at his 3 lieutenants. One of them is in white armor, is a Hur in white armor. Is a woman in white armor. The second is, I should sort of say, she's got like guns attached to her wrists, like Imperial blasters attached to her wrists. The second is a Rogadin with 2 Magitech gun shields on his arms, one on each arm. There's a huge, like, electrified shields that can fire chain gun rounds. And the third is a Hur man with all sorts of kind of magitechnical gear on him. That's of a scientific nature, and they're all kneeling before their commanding officer. Each of you is to go and survey the nations, survey the beast tribes, find what we need for the project. And once it is complete, we shall conquer these lands in the name of the Empire. And in unison, the 3 of them respond, "Yes, Lord Van Baelsar." Their commanding officer is none other than the Black Wolf, Gaius Van Baelsar, the head of the 14th Legion and the previous architect of the last attempt to invade Eorzea. who led the forces at Cartano. Things shift a little bit, and there are 2 Imperial soldiers having a chinwag while this is going on. Hey, is he serious? The Legatus is going to take another tilt at Aors here. And the second soldier's like, where have you been? This has been being planned for a while. We just need to build up our forces. And now, the Prefectus has got a new secret weapon that will help us turn the tide. And at that point, the red armoured Hur, with the scientific gear, walks over to them. You shouldn't speak of things that you are blissfully unaware of. Tell me both. Where were you born? The second soldier's like, Offard, my lord. And the first one's like, Amigo, my lord. Codename Hummingway, I presume. I assure you, Frumentarium sees all. And with that, he draws the Imperial Gunblade on his back, which is a long blade with a kind of revolver-like handle, like a wooden revolver handle, with a trigger, and the mechanism is built into the blade. Guardian-style gunblades are different from Bosjan-style gunblades. They're thinner and more rapier-like. But he immediately strikes down the man that was identified as an Aorsian spy who'd been spying on the Empire. And then looks to the second soldier as like, clean this up. As he walks off deeper into the castrum. And at that point, I'm going to summon the duality back, because I cannot, because they deafen themselves, so I've got to fix that. I've got to tell them they're okay to come back.
I got it.
Okay. While we're waiting for duality to undeafen, donate to the Trevor Project.
I'm back.
There we go.
I'm back, I'm front.
So you all wake up, and it was a restful, nice night's sleep for once. No weird dreams, no premonitions, none of that shite. And you can basically meet up in the bar where Baderon has 5 airship passes for you. And other basic kind of supplies for an air voyage across to one of the other nations. Okay. So there are 5 passes here, each of them signed personally by the Admiral. If you take my usual lift, go down 1 level, well, up 1 level really, because why would we have an underground airship bay? That would make this, we're not that kind of nation. If you go up 1 level, it'll take you to the airship landing. You present these, they'll let you go. At the moment, I mean, you could go further afield if you really wanted to, but you know, the Admiral's job for you is to head to Gridania or Ul'Dah. And like I said, my personal preference, based on talking to Mother Mioun over at Gridania, is maybe to go to Gridania first. Ul'Dah's relatively settled for the time being, which is odd with the Amalja and everything. Anyway, we have leftovers from Akemi's stress cooking last night if you want those for breakfast. Otherwise, you lot can depart whenever you're ready.
We still have plenty of the food I cooked for travel. Should be alright. Feel free to sell that to the rest of your patrons.
Sounds like a plan. It goes without saying, but be careful out there. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. He looks at Shikael. You might have more trouble getting booze out there. Gridanians don't tend to be as big of drinkers as we are here in Limsa. But you'll still be able to get some, so don't you worry. It just might not be what you're used to.
You want to stock up before we leave?
Do you want to stock up, Shikael?
Would be good.
Okay. So... Badaron orders one of his bar hands to deliver a crate of the good stuff up to the airship. So this should last you the entire voyage. No, wait, scratch that. It's you. It will last you at least until you get to Gridania. After that, you're probably going to have it restocked. But there, and that's free of charge. Consider that my token gift for you dealing with those pirates and the sea grot. And
Thank you.
Last thing I'll say to you lot, it's been a pleasure, and I hope I hear some pleasant stories about, well, now the 5 of you. And I hope you don't come to a bit of an unceremonious end like most adventurers tend to.
I hope not.
You've done pretty good so far, so have I hopes.
I think we'll be alright.
Yeah. Well, off with you then. You got places to go, people to see. Give my regards to the Elder Seed Seer and Mother Miyun. Oh, and the Admiral mentioned one thing, and seeing Wee Fang there reminded her to say to this. Let the Elder Seed Seer know that the wolf has been sniffing round the stables. Not Fang, specifically, but she'll know what you mean when you say those words to her.
Then. I will let them know.
Yep.
Alright then.
And with that, you can head up to the airship landing as you desire.
At this point, have our two companions been decked out in armor? And
No. You can do that in Gridania, and it will also help if they maybe choose what they want to do with their lives while they're in Gridania before buying them armor, because it might be a case of you buy armor and it interferes with maybe their new life choices, shall we say. So...
Okay. Are there, like, brochures for Gridania?
Okay, yeah.
Because that way they can spend the flight planning things out.
Yes, you give them both brochures to Gridania and the various guilds and the history of the area. So if either of you want a briefing on Gridania, I'm more than happy to read the brochures for you. However, you can also find it out the traditional way. But those two at least will have a bit of a head start because then they can figure out what they want to do with their lives.
Exactly. That was the main thing, is making sure they can figure out what they want to do.
Yeah. So, as you all head up to the airship landing, assuming that's what you do, because Zorn and Fawn can be dealt with in Gridania. And you can also buy regular stuff in Gridania too. They have their own market and such. As you look through the brochures, they have their version of Hawker's Alley. They have the Shaded Bower, which is their marketplace, and you can head on up, and there is a rather asymmetrical blimp waiting for you. It's like a cross between like a blimp and a hot air balloon. It has the main kind of blimp sort of thing, but then it has a hot air balloon, like just the balloon part sticking out the side of it as well, which is basically reserve air. And there is, at the check-in desk, they're like, are you the ones the admirals have been asking us to expect?
Indeed we are.
Just a formality, but I do need to see your passes, just in case, something may have happened, because those are all access, so they're kind of important. Priceless, one would say.
Hey.
Here you are.
Okay. And she checks them over. The Makote at the desk checks them over. It's like, yep, that's all in order. Have you decided which of the city-states you wish to visit first?
Sounds like Gridania's the better choice right now.
Alright. Okay, so I'll make sure the pilot is aware. And, oh, I do have a message for you, Mistress Shikail.
Yes?
The dance troupe that's been stationed here, they said they're going to move on to Ul'Dah, and if they see you there at some point, you can catch up about the business you have with them.
Alright.
And with that,
Cammy just kind of gives Shikail a weird look for that one.
you'll remember that Shikail was told by Badron that there's a dance troupe in town who were looking to meet up with Shikail about and talk about some important things, but Shikail seems to have kind of, not through malice, but kind of blown them off a little bit, dealing with all the other things that came up. So they have unfortunately got to move on for the time being, but they are going to go to Ul'Dah and dance for the Sultanate. Now that they've done this part of their Eorzean tour. So, you bored? The engine at the back of the airship, which is propeller driven, and on the wings of it as well, that expand from the sides of the basket. They all kick in, and you kind of move laterally to move off the platform once everyone is secure, and Fang is not going to suddenly try and jump off the edge of the airship. And it starts to take off, and as you kind of circle round one of the main towers of the city, you see various well-wishers and such who have heard of what you did at the Sea Grot wave you off, Badron included. The Admiral is looking out a window. You see several Maelstrom officers and Yellow Jacket officers, including the Commodore, all waving you off. and away you go. That would be a good place to take our break of the night, because then when we come back, we'll be landing in Gridania, hopefully with a minimal amount of seasickness, well, air sickness in this case. And yeah, so stick around, folks. I think I've gotten this trailer and stuff working that Afi gave me, so let me know if it works. If it doesn't, but for now, we'll see you when we get back from break. That is the wrong thing. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, it's not a Vector stream without technical problems. I am guessing it might be something to do with how I have some of these new Windows positions. I will fix that. Another point. It's a bit weird that it cut out on the fan art scroll. But yeah, we're back. Okay, so we are going to do some fun stuff, and assuming that Afi and Atmos don't kill me, which they won't because it's going to be fun for you all as well, I'm going to do some predictions, because I don't think I can do votes. No, but I can do predictions, I think. I wonder if I can. I might be able to do something. I'll look. And if I can't, I can't. And, you know. Because then you all can bet channel points on this lot. But I don't think I can. Not as a moderator. I don't think I can. Oh no, I can start a prediction. Okay. Okay, so here's the prediction we're going to run. We are going to do some gambling. And we're going to do this. Who will win this round of 21? Okay, and then your options are okay.
Probably air shipment.
No, the air shipment will be the dealer. Okay. We're going to do this prediction. You can spend channel points on it. And if you get it correct, you'll get channel points. If you get it wrong, you're bet and lost. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to gamble on which one of our party members is going to win this first round, and we'll keep doing the predictions as long as you want. So, will not be able to choose. I can't outcome. Yeah, okay. Got it. So, we have a prediction on running. I cannot vote in this, but other people can, if you want to gamble on our players. And I'll tell you how we're going to do blackjack in dice form very shortly. And I'm pretty sure Pure knows how to do it, so we'll use Pure as our test bunny. Okay. How's that prediction looking? Everyone think... Okay, whoever voted, which was one person, which was you. You voted for yourself, Pure.
Yes, I did.
Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. How about the rest of you? The rest of you do some voting as well. Right. I'm not going to switch to the. I'm not going to switch to the combat the combat thing for this, but I am going to start with this. Hey, Pure, can you roll me 2d10 to start with? I'm going to total them up. So it's a 5. Okay. So in this version of Blackjack with dice, we use d10s because you can't go higher than a 10 technically. With cards, an ace is a 1 or 11 depending on what you feel like. So if my lovely players here roll a 1, they can choose it to be a 1 or 11. Pure so far has rolled a 5 on 2d10, so it's up to Pure whether they, as a Kemi, hit or stand. So if you're going to hit, roll another d10. If you're going to stand, tell me so. And that's a 1, so that's a 1 or 11.
Well, that'll be an 11, making it 16.
Okay, so are you going to hit or stand?
Oh, definitely a hit.
Okay. That puts
and that
you...
makes it 20.
Yeah, it does.
So we will stay right there.
Okay. Shikyle, you're up. That's an 11 straight off the bat with 2d10. Oh, and by the way, you can gamble how much you want on this, but this is just our first one to show how it works.
There's a 21.
And it's a 21. Right, now it's my turn as the dealer to see whether that's gonna... That was an 8 and a 3. That's an 11. No, I roll 1. I roll 1s from now on in. That's a 15. I've got to try. No! The dealer's gone bust. So, Shikyle is the winner of our gambling, but this was a test run. Because now we're going to actually make you two gamble your own personal gil. So I'm going to... Who ran it? Who won it? Shikyle. And complete prediction. Prediction result is Shikyle. Okay, start prediction. Who will win this round of 21? So I'm going to give you all... I'm going to give you all a minute.
How many rounds do we want to do?
Let's do 3 more. So, prediction started, folks. Let's see you all bid your channel points. This would be a good way to get some spare channel points if you want to help the other games or this one. Just saying. Of course, you could spend them and lose. I will say that if anyone else, yeah, 50 gil. 50 gil per game. If you win. If you win, I'll double it. If you manage to score 21, I'll triple it. Obviously, if you lose, nothing.
If you lose, you're out 50 gil.
Yeah, if you lose, you're out 50 gil. I'm waiting for the prediction to finish. Let everyone... And let's have a look at the score. This time we have 50 points on Shikyle. And this time it's Duality spending their own points on themselves. Hey, Asparagus, Chell, Artemis, all of you, just spend some channel points, damn it. Okay. Okay, alright. Same again. Akemi, you're up. Let's see if you... Let's see how you do. That's double ones.
That's 12.
So that's a 12.
That did not go in the thingy.
Oh my. That's a 21.
21. Yep, that's 21.
So you automatically get triple back because it's 21. Doesn't matter whether I get anything. Shikyle.
I'm gonna keep track on paper for us.
Yeah. Shikyle starts off with an 11 on 2d10. And that goes up to 20.
Well, I either hit or bust, so...
Or stand. And see what the dealer gets. So...
Yeah.
Okay. So, dealer. I start off with a 9 on 2d10. And then I add another 1 for a 20, or 1 for a 10. So we'll go with that. That didn't go where I wanted it to. Oh, it's a 15. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time. 16. Okay, this is a 50% shot. And the dealer's gone bust. So that means Shikayo gets 100 back. I'm going to, for the sake of the prediction, Akemi won because 21 over 20. Choose outcome. Akemi. Boop. Okay. And then we're going to do some more. Y'all have a minute. Go. Y'all have a minute to bid some points. Don't just let our players bid points on this shit. Come on. Live a little. It's only channel points. We're gambling on virtual dice. We're not gambling real money or anything. Otherwise we'd be breaking some laws. I'm pretty sure. But we're gambling channel points because that's allowed on Twitch. While you're waiting, if you want to talk about gambling, how about you... how about you do what Asparagus did earlier and put some money into the Trevor project, because that'll get you in for the big gay giveaway tomorrow with Artemis. So, yep. 5 seconds left before we start, before I report who the predictions look like. Okay, this is actually a bit more balanced this time.
Is it?
Well, we'll see. This time, well, okay, Pure bet 150 on themselves. Duality bet 50 on themselves. And I'm not betting anything because it locks out. I can't change the outcome if I bet. Okay, Akemi, you're up.
If my mouse will listen to me. 13. One more. That's a 20. I'm gonna stay there.
Okay, Shikayo. That's a 14 or a 4, whichever you prefer. Okay, that's an added 2. So 6 or 16. That is now a 13 because otherwise it'd be bust.
And
18.
18 is...
Where are you going to stay, or...?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, both of you could technically win. It's just that Shikayo, Akami would win with a high number. You could still win money. Okay, my turn. I've got a 10 on 2d10. Another 1 gives me a 19. Oh. Oh, do what I do here as a dealer. I am going to stay on that. And Akemi, therefore, wins 100. And Duality does not. So, we're going to choose the outcome. Akemi. Boop. And we're going to do it one more time.
Alright.
And go. Okay, so we got one more round. The clock has started. Viewers, place your bets. I'm sorry, podcast listeners. You can bet on our results your own way. Place a bet between a group of you, and then listen for the commentary at the end of it. Okay, we have 25 seconds left on the clock. Let's see who's gonna. Who's gonna win? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Let's look at the stats. It's a... Oh, I got a feeling I know who bet on this. Hey, look, it's pure betting 100 on themselves and 50 from Duality again. Y'all suck. Y'all suck, and none of you even voted for me, because I can't vote for myself because it locks out the outcome. I have to get Affy or Artemis to do it. Okay, alright. Akemi, for this last round of 21, you're up first. 2d10. And that is a 13 on 2d10 to start with. And then there is a... Oh, that's a bust. Okay, Shikayo, you're up. That was a grand total of
a mistake.
22. You got a 19. Good. So Shikayo is staying on 19 on 2d10. I just bowls that up, so I'm going to roll my second one. So it's currently a 19 or a 9. So I've got to try and beat you. So we're going to try and do that. Oh my god. No, that's now a 20. So guess who won that one?
Okay.
The dealer. I won one. Okay.
I'm right back gold-wise where I started.
Yep.
And I have 200 more than I started with. Which, actually, I am going to put the 150 into the party money.
Okay.
Which you need to do.
Yep. Inventory. Done. Yay. So, y'all passed the time on the airship by gambling away with one of the crewmen.
Posture check, hydrate.
Wow! Y'all pay freaking channel points for posture checks and hydration checks, but you won't gamble.
It wasn't anybody paying, it was Artemis on the mod account.
I know. I know. Blah.
I am the hydrated out of all of us. I've been chugging Gatorade.
Good. I actually have water down there. It's just this pain. It's helping prop up a box right now, and I don't want to cause calamity.
Too late. That's why we're trying to fix it.
Yeah. It's too late. We've already had the freaking 7th fumble calamity.
Exactly.
Okay. Also, I shall stretch my back out a little bit. Okay, right. So the airship lands in Gridania, and Gridania, you know, is the forest nation out of the three. Limpsut is the sea, Gridania is the forest, Ul'Dah is the sand. That's before you get into all the other city-states that are part of ongoing parts of the campaign. So everything here is made out of natural materials. Wood, crystal, if it's found. Very bit, as little, nothing that
processed.
can't, nothing processed, put it that way. So, as you land, and this time the Gridanian airship landing is underneath the inn. They're the ones with the kind of like airship landing on the basement level. As you pull in and disembark, Another. There's a gentleman and a woman, both in yellow uniforms, not yellow jackets. They got a different. They got a different style of hat that differentiates them. Give you the adder salute, and not at you. Akemi, Shikayo, Crayon, Zorn, Fawn, and the wolf Fang, correct?
Indeed.
Excellent. We have been expecting you. The Admiral has let us know on the link shell that you will be coming. I trust you have the missive that the Admiral gave you. Yes, you do. Because I forgot to mention that part. You have a missive from the Admiral. I would suggest that you go straight to the Lotus Stab by the Conjurer's Guild to present yourself to the Elder Seedseer. After maybe attuning yourself to our Aetheryte, so you can come back here a bit quicker than an airship. And we will get underway. Of course, you can go and take in the tour of the city if you'd like, but otherwise, up to you.
Probably go to the crystal.
That makes sense. So the two of you head up the stairs.
The five of us?
Well, yes, the five of you. Sorry, the five of you plus Fang head up the stairs, and you go. You see that the Carline Canopy. That's the name of it. I remember things. The Carline Canopy is a very beautiful kind of building. It's the home of the Gridania Adventurers Guild, and obviously their bar, their pub, and also the roof is like a combination of wood and leaf green stained glass. So it's, when the sun is shining down on it, it looks very pretty on the floor. There's one woman behind the bar who's an Ellison woman with long black hair. She's pretty tall, not as tall as Akemi, but tall for an Ellison, and she kind of just gives you a nod, knowing why you're here, and doesn't trouble you for like any bureaucracy or anything, which gives you the message that maybe time is of the essence and you should do what you got to do, and then you can come speak to her. But I've got a message from someone. Anyway, so yeah, so you go up to the Aetheryte crystal, and which one of you is going to put your hand on it?
Chikayo.
Make me a Arcana check.
Akemi's also going to put their hand on it.
That was a nat 1, folks, by the way, for Chicago.
Kyle got knocked flat on her ass.
Yes, actually, Shikyle gets some feedback from the crystal and gets knocked back a few feet off onto the forest floor, where a couple of the twin adders kind of get up and help them back up. Kind of giving an odd look at the Aetheryte, especially as now Akemi is going to try and attune to it.
That is also a nat 1.
Akemi comes flying soon after.
Okay then.
And then Crayon kind of looks at you both as like, what the hell, and just decides, okay, I'm going to do this, and also makes an Arcana check. And gets a 9 and manages to attune to the Aetheryte, and the energy flows through the rest of you because it's a DC 5 check. This is basically a does anything bad happen check, because it's not like as long as you're etherically sensitive, which all of you are. Anyway.
We didn't expect 2 nat 1s in a row.
Well, yeah. That's what. Let's see. It's a 1 in 20 chance, and then times by a 1 in 20 chance. It's a 1 in 400 chance.
Yeah. Okay.
Of that happening.
So it's a 0.25% chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
What I'm hearing is we're in for some nat 20s.
Yes. Yeah. So you managed to attune, even after 2 of you are knocked flat on your ass, and you can feel in the ether network, in the Aetheryte, the Ethernet, that the Conjurer's Guild Aetheryte in the far... No, it's in the northeast, northwest, sorry. I will get my directions right. The northwest of Old Gridania, the old town. And you can just zap there, and actually as you all kind of figure this out, Zorn looks at you and says, actually, I need to make a pit stop at the Conjurer's Guild.
Take your time. I'm sure we can handle this while you're taking care of things.
Okay. So, do you all zip over there on the Ethernet? I take it as a yes. So, you all blink out of existence. Travel through the live stream, and thankfully, because of the little Aetheryte shards that are everywhere, you don't get lost. And you appear by in a glade where the Conjurer's Guild is hosted in the trunk of a massive tree. And you see Zorn nod his head and say, I will rejoin you when I've taken care of my business. And he nods at all of you, and Thorn looks kind of tilts his head as he departs, like, I never had Mr. Zorn pegged as a conjurer or healer. Interesting. I didn't think he had the etherical aptitude for that. Actually, when he looks at the 2 kind of imposing keepers of the twin serpents, who are like the elite guard of Gridania, who are dressed in white rather than in yellow. And he's like, this is not really my scene either. I have somewhere I'm going to go, and I felt it on the Ethernet as well. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go back to the new town, and I'm going to go to the Archers Guild, and I'm going to have a chat with them about some archery practice. Savvy?
Sounds good.
Okay. We'll meet you before we all depart. Okay? Back at the Aetheryte or at the Cardline Canopy, either way. Okay.
Sounds good.
Good.
Yes.
So, Fawn touches the Aetheryte crystal and blinks out. So now it's just the three of you, plus Fang, and as you approach the keeper of the Twin Serpents, they nod, they know who you are. It's almost like, you know, they were expecting you, and they let you walk down into the Lotus stand. As you walk down the path, you start to see this lake, or pond rather, this pond that has numerous circular wooden platforms in it that have been anchored, so they're stable. You won't have to do any weird kind of tests. And they're covered each one of them is painted in the pattern of a lily pad and such. And then in the center you see you see a white woman with her back to you, and she's wearing white robes and has a white crystalline staff. But she also has horns poking out of her head. And I will let you do what you will with that information.
Which of us has the missive? Or is it just in the party inventory?
It's in the party inventory.
Okay. Kemi's gonna pull that out real quick. And just walk forward. Clear his throat. Hello?
The elementals said you were on your way. Good. And the woman turns around, and for all intents and purposes, she looks like a Hure, like a human, but she has these two lovely kind of horns popping out of her head, and like a laurel crown resting on top of them. Welcome to the forest nation of Gridania, my friends. I am Khan A. Senna, and I am the elder seed seer of Gridania, the leader, the leader of not only the forest nation and the twin adder, but also of the Padjals, my order of white mages who are sworn to these lands and to serve the elementals. And she kind of closes her eyes again and listens. I hear that you have done many good things for the Admiral in Lenosha, yes?
Certainly have.
Well, I see you have a piece of paper there. Let's see it.
Yeah, this is from the Admiral. They pass it over. I was also told to tell you that the wolf has been sniffing around the stable.
And instinctively, Canny Senna looks at Fang. Did the Admiral mean your wolf companion has been sniffing around our chocobo stable?
No.
I jest. It is a rather crude joke of the Admiral's, but one with a rather more serious meaning. I will keep an eye out for certain black wolves sniffing around stables. But for now, let me read this. Do you two need? So do you three or the pup need refreshments?
Kemi kind of just glances at Shakyle with a grin. Do we?
Where's he going for more?
And Kane just she nods at one of the keepers of the Twin Serpents. That's her personal bodyguard in the Lotus Stand, and they walk off to go and sort out refreshments. They will come back a short while later with wine and mead and all sorts of things that Shikaya would find palatable. Same for Akemi, and also plenty of water for Fang. That's not from the pond, because it's a sacred place. So she reads the missive and she nods sagely. I think it's Merlwyb has the right of it, and from what I read here, I don't need to explain what happened at Cartano to you. I was there. Merlwyb, myself, and Ralbum were all there leading our forces as the Eorzean Alliance, and like her, as divided as we stand, I would hope that we had some guidance. But alas, Louis Soir is not with us anymore. But a remembrance service for those that fell at Cartano seems appropriate to me. And she takes a quill from the other keeper of the Twin Adder, keeper of the Entwined Serpents, and signs off on the missive. Okay, and then she hands it back to Shikyle this time.
She takes it.
And she narrows her eyes for a bit, and she kind of goes. She tilts her head as she closes them. Yes. I think you may want to stay for what's about to happen. And suddenly, a Moogle with a pink pom comes flying into the Lotus Stand and starts yelling, "Elder Seedseer! Elder Seedseer! It's terrible! Kupo! The Muggles Guard! Kupo! They're summoning the king! Kupo!" If someone
and we lost Pure.
We've lost Pure. I've killed Pure with my Moogle voice. Look, I can't do like a 5-year-old's voice, okay? I can barely try to pull off a woman's voice most days. So I'm gonna do my best. Huh?
At 4 years old.
Yeah, you're better at that. Yeah, rip Pure. So this Moogle just came rushing in, and you see Kane Senna just kind of put up her hand, and she's like, "Peace, Kuplo Cop. Peace. Please, explain to our friends what exactly you mean." And as the three of you, and Fang also gets, Fang's hackles are raised, because suddenly this loud, shrieking fluff ball just flew in, and started flying around the three of you and the Elder Seedseer. And Kupla Cop just kind of shakes and wiggles in exasperation. It's like, "The Muggles God are summoning Good King Muggle Mog the 12th, Kupo! He's come to take over the 12's woods!" And that, my loves, is where we're going to take a slightly earlier end tonight, because at least one of our players is feeling a little under the weather, so we're going to call it there for the night. And a bit of a cliffhanger. Yeah. Welcome to Gridania, folks. Seems the Moogles have summoned a primal, Kupo. Great job, you fluffballs. Yeah. You've dealt with pirates and everything, now you're dealing with a god. At level 2.
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Anyway,
Knowing us, everything.
yeah. So, thank you all for watching and putting up with our shenanigans, as always. Yeah, so tomorrow is the end of the Trevor Project fundraise. After that, it goes on to Extra Life, and I will be helping with the Extra Life team, because I've signed up to be part of the Extra Life team. So whenever I am streaming, I will definitely be advertising my part of Extra Life. And I'll probably do some fun stuff when the channel's not running during the day. Maybe do some Diablo 4 or something, especially with the new season coming out. Yeah. So the big gay giveaway is tomorrow during Fixes 5. Pride merch comes off the store Saturday. We have stuff all the way through now until next week. So, don't forget to go buy some dice at Canadian Dice. The merch store I've already mentioned. We shall see you. Same time, same channel, different city. Next Thursday at 8:30ish, all being well. I'll try and fix the issue with the sound from the art stream. That seemed a bit weird that it cut out. But it's goodbye from me. Goodbye for... Oh, hang on. Artemis, are we raiding anyone? If Artemis
can't hear us.
Okay, if Artemis is gone, then I can't do a raid. So, yes, cat. My cat is buggered off somewhere. Okay, we are raiding someone.
1 sec.
I'm trying to fill some space while Artemis sets us off on a raid. Yeah.
Okay, we can hear now?
Good.
Sweet.
Artemis is listening to us. Okay.
Sorry,
no, you're fine. I'm not rushing you. I'm just I'm filling the space with things to talk about. I'm thinking about what I can talk about that's relevant. I've already talked about everything. I've like recapped the announcements.
Yes, you're drooling.
And the cat is drooling. We're gonna hit Lost Caravan RPG for the raid tonight, so stick around. You get about 250 channel points, which can be used to rescue folks, and fucking hell, they need it in Fixius and Mistwalkers right now. Trust me. You think we have problems. So, stick around for the raid. You get 250 channel points to spend on saving people or fucking with them. That's also a possibility. And
always fun.
Yeah, with that in mind, I'll let Artemis send us on our merry way. It's good night from me. Good night from them. And good night from Jess as well, for that matter. Good night from the cat. And we shall see you next week. Now I just got to press the right thing.